What is going on, everybody? Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. We are back live on the channel. It's been about a week and a half, but we are back, locked in, ready to go. Excited to talk to all of you. Appreciate everybody for waiting patiently, except for LaCora and Robert Pavich, but that's okay. I appreciate the expectation to start right at 4 o'clock Central Time. LaCora, we never hear from you in the chat when we go live early, but we'll leave that there. It's all good. And by the way, I don't really know. Colin and I are kind of trying to figure it out. We don't really know what this new community feature is or whatever. But and by the way, when I click it now, Colin, it doesn't even pop up the leaderboard anymore. So not sure what that's all about. But yeah. Basically, the more you comment, the better chance you have to finish in first place. Okay, here it is. And you can earn like XP points on that stream. So shout out LaCora for leading the way on today's show.
100%. 100%. Just getting my mic situated here. But yeah, Bears fans, what's up? Haven't seen you guys in about 10 days. Hope y'all are doing well and everything. But yeah, as Harry said, there's this new thing in the chat, leaderboard. So if you guys want to be number one on the first ever community leaderboard version of Bears Now, feel free to comment below. But yeah, LaCora is leading the way.
Shout out LaCora, and yeah, I don't know the full formula. Someone looked it up. Apparently, super chats play a role, but we haven't found proof that that's actually the case. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it turns into something. But that's it's always fun when YouTube drops new feature. Shout out your city. We got Oliver in Napoleon, Robert in Madison, Wisconsin. Robert claims he's in North Korea. You got a VPN over there, Robert? Donald in South Bend. Let's see, Peoria from Navy Guy. Let's see, Dale in Plebna, Montana. Rare Breed in Chicago. The Notcast, Crystal Lake. I listened to a true crime podcast that was based out of there. The Notcast. Not sure if you're familiar with that case. I'm trying to remember what it was called. It's a good story, sad story, but it's well done. Albany, Indiana is where Michael is. Damascus and Raleigh, North Carolina. We got Sioux Falls, South Dakota from Caden Gunvaldson. We got Travis in West Point, Virginia. Let's see. Shane and Carroll, Iowa. Good to see everybody. It's been a little bit, but hope everybody is doing well. We got a super chat from Robert. It says, I've seen enough. Bring back Bill Lazor and Chase Daniel for QB1. That sounds disgusting.
Sounds horrible. Does not sound fun whatsoever.
That sounds disgusting. But, if you want to bring Chase Daniel out of retirement, and I think Bill Lazor is a senior assistant maybe in Houston. I'm not sure. But you have at it, Robert. I'm not interested. Michael with the sunglasses emoji, appreciate that. And then the Notcast saying Madison made the draft interesting last year. Yeah, we decided not to do those this year. If we do something Madden related, I'd rather do something where like Colin and I play each other, or I play against a subscriber or something like that. I didn't think it was that entertaining. I personally didn't enjoy doing it. I know some people enjoyed it, some didn't. If it was a universal, all you guys loved it, I probably would have done it again, but I thought it was pretty split. And for Colin and I, we explained this last time we were live, but very time consuming, and I didn't get that much enjoyment out of it. So we decided not to do it. Again, when things get real slow, maybe we'll do some kind of like once a week play Harrison Madden challenge or something, or play Cullen or whatever, but we're not going to do the Sims. I think they're kind of boring. It could be kind of fun to play. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing something like that, but no commitments right now. That's just where we're at. So, okay, fill in the blank. Caleb Williams will be a top blank QB this season. Top 5, 10, 15, 12, 25. What do you guys think? Top blank QB this season. I'll actually make a poll here.
Soldier Bears is top 1. Love that. Robert Pax is 12. We got 15 from Bratton. We got AR Universe saying 10. Saquads Barkley says he'll be top 15. Oliver saying top 16. Dawson saying 3. Dale Schmidt saying 10. LaCour saying number 12. Blakely says 5. Flash says 12. Shane says 10. So a lot of like 10 to 15, 16 range in there.
It's fair. I mean, if he's top half, I think that would be good. I mean, you're hoping he can flirt more with that top 10, top 12 number. I'm not expecting / banking on him being a fringe top 5 guy. I don't think it's impossible, but I think that would be a leap. So let's get top half first. Go from there. I think if he's a firm top 12 to 15 guy this year, that'd be a good step. And then hopefully next year and beyond, being a top 10 guy consistently is what you're hoping, and eventually one of the best. So
yep.
We'll see. It takes time, but I would probably I put a poll out there, like 11 through 15 is probably where I would vote. That would probably be my vote. If he's top 10, great. If he's top 15, I'd take it. If he's bottom half of the league, that'd be a bit disappointing. So
a couple people in the chat have asked your opinions on the PFF QB rankings, which I know you did a video on 4Verts.
Yeah, I thought maybe doing one over here. Maybe I'll do a reaction video to that. I kind of thought it was an embarrassing list. Not even just the Caleb stuff, but like there's just so many weird things. It's like I don't think there's a single general manager in the league that would rank Bryce Young higher than Caleb Williams. I just don't. J.J. McCarthy, too, has not played, ranked higher on that list. Michael Penix played like 3 games, ranked higher. Even Jalen Hurts, like I know they just won the Super Bowl. He's the 5th best quarterback in the NFL. Like I'm sorry. Like if he's on any of the 31 other teams, I'm not saying he's not good, but his impact with that team and with that offensive line and with that running back, like it's just higher. Like he's in a great situation for himself, which, hey, nothing against that. Like Mahomes is in a great situation too, but like I would take Mahomes on another team outside of Kansas City over Hurts on another team outside of Philadelphia, and it wouldn't even be close for me. So there's just a lot with that list I thought was weird. I talked about this too, Colin. PFF kind of split up tier 3 into 2 different categories, and I felt like they put the guys in the wrong subsection. Like they had a tier 3, it was like tier 3, solid starter with high-end flashes, and then 3B was like solid starter who needs a lot of help around him. And the guys they put in high-end flashes, I felt like were guys who
needed the help.
Have been with guys around him. And then the other guys in the other category, like they put Kyler Murray in the solid starter needs a lot of help around him. It's like, isn't he the definition of like high-end flashes guy?
Literally.
So I don't know. I thought it was strange, but if you guys want a video on it, I can give my thoughts. But I thought having Caleb last of the second-year quarterbacks, I just like if you want to put him behind. I mean, obviously, I'd put him behind Jaden Daniels through one season. I think that's fair. But you want to put Bo Nix ahead of him, cool. But like, you know, we could debate Drake May, but like Penix and McCarthy, like I don't see how that's even possible. like Caleb would have had to have a rookie year like Bryce Young to justify putting a guy who hasn't played ahead of him. And still, I don't know if you could do that.
Yeah, no, I didn't really get to dive full depth into the QB rankings. I saw like a couple of them that got tweeted out or whatever. But
they had him last among all the first-round picks last year. Behind JJ, who hasn't played, and behind Penix, who's barely played.
Yeah, I disagree with that. We did a video, the long video that we did on our channel, probably like, a few weeks, a month ago, whatever it was, where we ranked, where we'd have Caleb, again, assuming everything going forward.
Yeah, we factored in everything, like long term. They did it just for this season. And the one we did, like, I had Caleb at 10, and I know some people push back on that, but that factored in everything, upside projection. I wouldn't have him at 10 just going into 2025, but like 24?
Yeah, no, I was just mainly bringing that up to say, like, even if you want to drop him from, 10, or I think I had him at like 8, if you want to drop him, say, mid-pack to 20th or maybe even
15
lower,
to 20?
Yeah. Like, that seems like a more realistic than bottom 5, bottom 10.
Yeah, and forget the number. I don't see how you could have him dead last among his peers from last year.
Agreed.
Like I think people think that Caleb had like one of the worst rookie years ever. It's like no, like he had an up and down rookie season with some flashes, with some downs. Like a lot of good quarterbacks did their rookie year. Like he didn't have like a Jared Goff rookie season or a Bryce Young rookie season. Like he was fine. He probably didn't live up to the hype. I think that's fair, but I think there was a lot of reason for that. So, which has been well documented recently. Okay, Dennis, would you rather Ben as your head coach or Caleb as your QB? God, that's a good question. I mean, both are still relatively unknowns in their fields, right? Probably say Ben as my head coach if I had to pick, because I know what he is as a play caller.
I think I'd rather have Caleb, to be honest. Like, here's the thing. Yeah. We saw Caleb with arguably the worst coaching staff for a rookie quarterback that in recent memory.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I guess I was kind of thinking that on the flip side of, like, I know what bad coaching looks like, but I guess that could play in Caleb's favor, too. Exactly. So, like, I don't know. That's a good question.
It is a really
It's not a knock on either one, whoever I choose, because I think both can be really good together and individually.
Because Ben is like this unknown, which again can play into his favor and play against him. Because you could look at it as like, yeah, he was a great play caller in Detroit. He's got all this potential. He seems to have his guy and everything. But also, it's like, have we seen him in certain situations? Have we seen him, been able to run an entire team, deal with the, expectations of being a coach?
And I guess at the end of the day, while coaching in the NFL matters a lot more than other sports, like the players still have to like be good.
Yeah.
So like if Caleb is this elite talent that we think he is, then you would still take Caleb. But like if you told me Matt Eberflus was his coach for 10 years, like I don't what does he become? I don't know. Maybe he's just like an average starter.
And then like say you give him like if you gave each of them like let's just say like average. Like, give Caleb an average head coach and give Ben an average head coach. Which team do you think does better?
Give Ben an average quarterback?
Or average quarterback, excuse me.
Like, if you gave Ben Johnson...
Throw a name out there.
Let's see. Who's, like, the definition of middle of the pack? Like...
not Jared Goff, but, like...
But even, like, that's kind of my point, too, though, right? Like, I think some people would have said end of Rams... Jared Goff and early Detroit Jared Goff was like an average starter. And then he became like a second-tier MVP candidate.
But, I mean, again, they didn't...
Now, I've always thought of Goff higher than that. Like, I think he's pretty good. But, like who's like the definition of an average starter right now?
That's what I'm trying to think. Like... It wouldn't be like Baker's like Goff's like
he is
above.
He's surpassed that.
Yeah, Baker surpassed it. Goff. I'm like just trying to think of the middle of the pack.
I don't think Kyler's a good example because he's just a unique player. I'm trying to think of just like your middle of the pack. I don't know, like
Geno Smith maybe.
Yeah, Geno or like pre-last year Kirk Cousins or even Kirk Cousins now. Just like
Kirk Cousins now might.
Yeah, he might stink.
He's kind of actually stinking. Sam Darnold, somebody says, but again, that's only like 1 year
bad
production.
Example.
Definition of Brock Purdy, like that's interesting.
Yeah. But I think Purdy with Shanahan, who we're hoping Johnson can be to that level, has become more than average.
Yeah.
Like I think if you gave...
Like is Tua average?
That's a good... I'd say I think he's a little better than average, but I think that's a good example.
Okay. So Ben Johnson with Tua.
Like... Get rid of Goff last year and put Tua in there. I think Tua's going to put up big fucking numbers.
I don't think they get – I think Goff's a better player, so I think Goff, like, gives them a better season.
Maybe they win 12 games instead of 15.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still with that weaponry and all. Tua behind a good offensive line with good receivers. Like, he's going to put the ball in the right spot more often than not.
Right. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, honestly, like, to me, like, I think
if you're picking Caleb, you're picking him because you think he can be one of the best players in the league.
Yes. I do think someday. He's not right now, but I do think he has that potential. And I think ultimately, like, the value of the quarterback is greater than the value of a head coach in the sport of football.
In most cases.
In most cases, yes. Now, granted, if you don't live up to that potential, correct. But
like the like extreme example is, would you rather have Mahomes or Reed? And I would say Mahomes because Reed never won a Super Bowl without Mahomes.
Yeah.
And I think Reed's incredible. I mean, he took – to me, he's I don't know if he's surpassed Belichick, but in a lot of ways he's more impressive because, like, he
Brady
took
won
Donovan
without
McNabb to 4 NFC title games. He
Yeah.
helped resurrect Michael Vick. Kevin Kolb looked good under him. Hell, who was it like 6 years ago?
Alex Smith.
Matt Moore.
Matt
Remember
Moore?
when Mahomes buckled his knee and missed 3 weeks and Matt Moore was
Yeah.
playing good ball? He was like half retired.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's good debate, Dennis. Good debate. William.
The 20.
Goff went from bottom 10 to top 10 in 1
See,
year.
I don't think it's bottom 10.
If he was bottom 10, it was brief. Like, I watched Jared Goff for a 3 or 4 year stretch with Sean McVay play at a high level. Now, it got weird at the end, but, like, he was still a top 12 guy.
Yep.
Like, and at his peak, probably top 8, which is kind of.
I agree.
Now, to Ben's credit, though, I do think Goff reached a new level.
He did.
With Johnson. Like, I think his best in Detroit topped his best in L.A. Caleb's stats last year, he should at least be top 10 with the talent coaching around him. Too talented to not be top 10 in yards alone is like 3,800. Yeah, I mean, he threw for 35-41 last year. You would think just on coaching alone, and then you add in the offensive line, the weapons, that the yards should go up. I also think the efficiency, which is more important, will go up. Like, Caleb was one of the leading drop back guys last year. So, like, that should go down with the production going up, if that makes sense. So,
yeah, I'm just going to pull up.
Appreciate the 20, though, William.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up Jared Goff's stats here real quick. Because, like, again, like, yeah, he was under Sean McVay. And, like, when he initially was drafted by the Rams, he had Jeff Fisher, and God knows who could survive with that as a head coach. But, I mean, his worst year, arguably, with the Rams was in 2019. He was 9-7 as a quarterback, completed just under 63% of his passes, 4,600 yards, 22 touchdowns, 16 picks. Like, that's not a bottom 10 guy to me.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's like that.
What was his first year in Detroit? 21?
First year in Detroit was
2021.
Yeah, so he was 3-10. He completed 67% of his passes, 3,200 yards, 19 touchdowns, 8 picks.
All right.
He didn't produce a lot.
That's not bottom 10.
Yeah, like that to me is not a bottom 10 guy.
Yeah. Like, Goff at his worst, if you take out his rookie year, is like middle of the pack starter.
Yeah, rookie year, yeah. He was. I mean, again, he's been, based on just a brief look at his stats, he's been somewhere between 22 to 32 touchdowns and about, 7 to 12 picks. That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Or 16 picks, I guess is one of them. But
that's well above average throughout the course of his career. I would say Jared Goff has had a very good career. Like,
yeah,
he's going to need to he's kind of like a slightly worse Stafford in terms of, like, just the production and everything. Like, if he could win a Super Bowl one day, he could make a Hall of Fame push. Kind of like Stafford getting one with the Rams probably is going to vault him into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So.
He, to me, like, because, again, over the accumulation of everything, like, he's not quite Stafford level, because Stafford, I mean, he put up a lot of godly numbers in a not great Detroit teams, but
is he like slightly worse Rivers?
He's like, to be honest, like, he's probably like a worse
Matt Ryan without an MVP.
Yeah, like, to be honest, like, he's in that kind of like Ryan's, Rivers, like Romo almost kind of level.
Very good for a long time.
Yeah, and again, like, he was a former number 1 overall pick. So,
if
like,
Caleb was very good for a long time, considering the Bears QB history, I'd be pretty happy. I'm wanting more, but
if Caleb has Jared Goff's career, I think he would have underachieved. Now, to a level you could disagree and, like, argue, but I think he would have underachieved.
Yeah, it's fair.
I think Goff's been a fine NFL QB, but is he a number 1 overall pick worthy? I would say no. Now, does it mean is he bottom 10? No, but I don't know if he's lived up to the hype as a number 1 guy.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a QB number 1 overall, you're probably like, I know this is a crazy goal, but you're thinking this guy is going to go to the Hall of Fame.
That's what most people are hoping for.
It's weird to say, though, that Goff, like, you're probably right, but, like, he's been pretty good.
He's been pretty good. No, I'm not even saying, like, not even a first-round guy.
Like, I would say he's been a top 10 QB more years than he hasn't been. Now, I guess you're picking number 1. You're like, you should be wanting Josh Allen production.
I mean, you're hoping multiple Pro Bowls. I mean, he's got
Super Bowl. If he wins a Super Bowl, would that change things?
A little bit, yeah. That would swing me more, yes. Like, he's a 4-time Pro Bowler. Again, solid. He's a career 65% completion percentage guy. That's throwing 222 touchdowns and 94 picks. Like he's, again, franchise guy.
Yeah.
Not number one pick worthy, in my opinion.
If you're a number one pick, regardless of position, the standard is gold jacket or very close to it.
Yeah.
That's probably.
That's the goal.
Yeah. A good example is when the Chiefs took Eric Fisher. Very good player, not worthy of a number one pick. Clowney, very good player, not worthy of a number one pick.
Exactly. Like Goff falls in that kind of category of player.
Yeah, like it's one of those where, like, if he went 8th, you'd be like, oh, it's awesome career.
Exactly.
First, very good career, but.
Yeah. The thing is, when you're pick number one, like, not everyone's expecting you to be Peyton Manning, but you can't be, like, closer to Alex Smith.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point.
That's just my take.
Good debate. It's fun. All right, hit that like button. We got a lot to get to, including some Cole Kmet talk, because I got to be honest, I saw one of the worst takes you will ever see yesterday, and I got to react to that. Plus, a couple of thoughts on him coming out of yesterday's OTA practice. We'll take your questions, hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Get your questions answered on the show. And June 1st is coming, and sometimes that means roster movement. Players could get cut, could get traded as certain contracts become more cuttable, more tradable, if you will. So got to take a look at 5 guys that could be on the Bears' radar. They're at least on my radar. So stay tuned for all of that. Hit that like button, and let's go ahead and dive on in. All right, coming up on today's episode of Chicago Bears Now, I just witnessed one of the worst takes that I've ever seen in the internet era, and I'm going to react to it. Coming up here in just a moment when it comes to Cole Kmet. And speaking of the Bears tight end, what are your expectations for him? Because I feel like he's kind of become a forgotten man here. Colston Loveland's here now. You got all these sexy weapons at receiver. Give me your expectations, your thoughts on Cole Kmet coming into this season. Worst take ever. That is what former Packers quarterback and now content creator Kurt Benkert provided as he does some work for Bleacher Report. And he basically did I think it was like 5 or 6 players that could get cut or traded post June 1, which is a good topic idea this time of year, but maybe the wrong person to deliver it and to come up with this list. Here's what he said, because he thinks Cole Kmet could get cut. He said, Cole Kmet might have some trade value, maybe, but I could see him getting straight up cut. His cap savings could be worth more than his potential value to the Chicago Bears this year. Maybe, which he kept saying maybe. It's like, do you even believe what you're saying? They just got Colston Loveland. They're tied into the future. Colston Loveland is a dog. I agree with all that. He's has a chance to be a big-time player. I think Cole Kmet, at his age, with some new faces coming to Chicago, could be on the list of guys that wouldn't be shocking if they got cut. It's not because he's not a great player. I think he's actually a pretty good player, but he's got a lot of cap savings. There's so much to unpack here that I quite frankly don't really even know where to start. And before I really do kind of unpack and give my reaction to how ridiculous this is when just the plot gets completely lost from Benkert. I'm not a cap guru, clearly. We'll outline that in a second. But it looks like the Bears could save $12 million if they cut him post-June 1st. The way the team is going, maybe they cut him, maybe they don't. I think if they decide not to cut him, he'll bring a lot of value to the team this year. It'll come down to the numbers, talking about like the cap hit. Okay, let's get to the numbers. Cole Kmet's cap hit this year, $11.6 million. First of all, just regardless of the savings, I'd say pretty reasonable for what he provides. Even coming off a down year, I'd still say at worst he's a top half of the league starting tight end. That's not $11.6 million isn't even top 10 in terms of cap hit. So pretty reasonable. Post June 1st cut, Kurt Benkert, who says he's not a cap guru. That's the one thing he said that's true. Said he thinks it would save $12 million. You know what the real number is? $100,000. So if they cut Cole Kmet, He currently costs $11.6 million against the Bears cap this year. If they cut him, he costs $11.5 million against the cap this year. So they could save a whole $100,000 by cutting Cole Kmet, currently the best tight end on this team. Great breakdown, Benkert. Absolutely fantastic work that he's doing over there. Look, maybe he was looking at next year's cap chart because Cole Kmet does become a possible cut candidate that next year from a fiscal standpoint and maybe from an on-field standpoint. We'll get to that in a little bit. But I feel like that's even giving him too much of the benefit of the doubt. And forget the money for a second. There's a lot of reasons why you would not cut Cole Kmet right now. Number one, he's just a proven commodity. Like, even off a down year, right? Like, how many times coming out of games last year were you like, where the hell has Cole Kmet been? Even last year in that shitty offense, he still had almost 50 catches, almost 500 yards, and 4 touchdowns. It's not like he did nothing. And if you average his last 4 years out, he's basically over 600 yards and gives you about 5 touchdowns a year. So, like, this is a guy who for 4 years now, after his rookie season, has been very steady. Now, is he an all-pro? Is he all-world? Is he a superstar? Can he get to that status? Probably not. I don't think he's agile enough. I don't think he's elite enough as a blocker, but he's pretty well-rounded, right? Like, he's a starting caliber, upper echelon tight end. I'd say top half at worst, and I think at times he's been a top 8, top 10 tight end in the NFL. So that's not a player you trade, especially going into a critical season with Caleb Williams needing to take that next step. Number 2, I agree that I think Colston Loveland's a dog and that he has a chance to be a big-time player. He hasn't even practiced yet. 0 NFL practices. He's still recovering from a shoulder injury. Can we see the guy practice, much less play first? Like, there's no reason to increase pressure on Colston Loveland. Like, he's already going to be behind the 8 ball. Like, when he gets to training camp and he is cleared from injury, that is the timeline, that is the expectation. Yeah, it'll be awesome to see him out there. Reality is he'll probably make a lot of mistakes early, and it's going to take a lot of time. And the tight end position is one of the tougher ones to learn as a rookie because you're learning blocking schemes, route running concepts. You're basically learning 2 positions. Like, it's not easy. So, like, you're going to cut Cole Kmet because Colston Loveland, you think he's going to be a dog? Like, it's his rookie year, and he's not even able to practice yet. Like, that's just insanity. Number 3, Ben Johnson, which we've talked about, really likes 12 personnel. What is 12 personnel, Harrison? 2 tight ends set formations where 2 tight ends are on the field at the same time. Detroit ran the third most of those last year. Can't remember the percentage exactly. I want to say it was like 36, 37%. We did a video on this a couple months ago. And that's why we talked about, like, need to add a tight end, need to add a tight end. Didn't know if it would be in the first round, but, like, they needed to get one that they could trust to be that second guy. And I do think Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet mesh pretty darn well. Like, can we see that before we just cut Cole Kmet? Number 4, okay, cut Cole Kmet. You probably have some good depth pieces, right? Not really. Durham Smythe is a fine tight end 3. Like, he's fine. Steven Carlson is a journeyman practice squad caliber player. If he makes the team, he's like one of the last guys on the roster. Joel Wilson, Jordan Murray, no thank you. Like, those are camp bodies. Like, if you cut Cole Kmet, not only does it increase the pressure on Colston Loveland, but Durham Smythe has to play a bigger role than he probably needs to. Steven Carlson has to make this team, or you have to go sign somebody, like bring Mercedes Lewis back, who wasn't very good last year. Like, it just doesn't make any sense from a top of the tight end room standpoint to the depth of the position you currently have standpoint. And then again, just to reiterate, it makes no sense financially. I put that one last because maybe Benkert was looking at 2026 instead of 2025. I feel like that's giving him too much benefit of the doubt, but I'll provide it there. But there's just several other reasons why it makes no sense to do that right now. And oh, by the way, on top of all of that, let's say, I don't know, Ben Johnson didn't like the vibe of Cole, or Ryan Poles wanted to move, whatever reason they wanted to move on. Well, then you trade him. Kurt Benkert was like, he could have trade value. Maybe it's like, no, he would have trade value. He's a starting NFL tight end who's played at a pretty high level for several years now, who is still pretty young. And by the way, he mentioned his age. Cole Kmet, I'm going to double check this right now. I think he's 26 years old. He turned 26 in March. Tyler Shuck just got drafted. He turns 26 this year. Like, Cole Kmet is still young. Like, there's a chance he's still ascending. Now, again, I think his play style, I don't think a major ascension could still happen. Like, he's not going to all of a sudden have Travis Kelce yards after the catch ability. But, like, he's still on the younger end of his career potentially. Like, why are we talking about this guy? Like, hey, just got to move on. Why? I know you just drafted a guy in the first round, hasn't practiced yet. If anything, he enhances Cole Kmet. So I just think none of it makes sense. You definitely wouldn't cut him. Even if you were to trade him or wanted to move on from him, you would trade him because there would be teams interested. I don't know if anyone saw that report that the Steelers might trade for Jonnu Smith today. You don't think they would like Cole Kmet? I think they would. So, yeah, it's just not trying to rip the guy because he's a former Packers QB, although FGB, you guys know the drill. But I do think it's kind of the latest example of just because a guy played in the league doesn't mean his analysis is always tip-top. But, hey, that's just my take. Grade this Cole Kmet take from Kurt Benkert, A, B, C, D, or FGB. That's what I should have put on it. You can write FGB if you think it's a straight-up F from Kurt Benkert. Just a bad take. We all have them. I've had them too. But man, this is when you don't even get the money close to being correct. It's kind of a tough look. All right. Speaking of Cole Kmet, coming up, we'll have a little update from OTAs. A couple of nuggets coming out of yesterday's practice, so stay tuned for that. But if you want to get a jersey of his quarterbacks, Caleb Williams, $100 right now. Usually these jerseys are at least $120, so a nice little price there. Chatsports.com/Caleb Jersey. If you want to click and shop today, that link is in the comments and description of this video. Chatsports.com/Caleb Jersey. Go ahead and pick up one right now. Okay, let's talk about Cole Kmet at OTAs because last week we heard Ben Johnson grilled him pretty good because he wasn't lined up in one of their formations properly, which I loved hearing, by the way. Don't let anything slip. And this week we heard that he was heavily featured in the practice that was open to the media. They're moving him around. They're sending him in motion, different things. We saw the Bears social media team today post a video of Caleb ripping a seam shot to him. That was great to see. Clay Harbor tweeting this out yesterday. Kmet had a nice day at OTAs. He moved around, looked comfortable doing it. He's showing that he can be can be versatile, which bodes well for his usage with Colston Loveland come the season. So, yeah, again, like, if anything, and by the way, there is a world where Colston Loveland ascends past Cole Kmet on the depth chart, but just to go back to the Benkert thing, that doesn't mean you cut Cole Kmet. It just means, okay, Loveland's just better right now, and you worry about Kmet's future in the future. I expect to see a motivated player here. I think he's kind of the forgotten man in this offensive arsenal. We all talk about DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Luther Bird, and you drafted Colston Loveland, DeAndre Swift. Are they going to add a running back? Cole Kmet has been a pretty darn steady player here. He's been a pretty good piece, and we bitched all of last year that they didn't get him the ball. I think Ben Johnson's going to find a way to get him the football. So I'm excited. Obviously, there's a lot of mouths to feed, but I think he can be an impactful player here, and I'm not just ready to write him off as a Chicago Bear. But I will say this, to everything I've said, he needs to produce this year. He needs to be effective and efficient. And while Benkert was way off on the Bears cutting him this year, regardless of moving on, next year, it's a real possibility. We talked about this weeks ago after the draft that DJ Moore and Cole Kmet, the idea of moving them now is insane just for money reasons alone. But next year, let's say Colston Loveland does surpass him. Let's say Rome Odunze and hell, even Luther Burden surpass DJ Moore. Not saying you have to move on from those guys, but financially it becomes a lot easier to dangle them out for trades or if you do want to cut them for whatever reason. So I do think Kmet needs to be motivated, and I expect him to be, but the idea of cutting him this year is still absolutely asinine, but at the same time, he's a player to watch this year because if he does have a disappointing year and they want to save some money, next year they could certainly do that. Will Cole Kmet be on the Bears roster in 2026? He obviously will be this year. Type Y for yes, he will. He'll still be on the team next year. Type N for no, he will not. I think he still will be because the only way he's not is if A, Loveland just goes nuclear, and B, they have another tight end to pair with him. I don't think Durham Smythe is going to be the long-term tight end too. So as of now, I would still expect Kmet to be here. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Chicago Bears Now. Subscribe to us if you like our analysis and our takes here on this channel. They're free. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button. Ooh, almost knocked over my drink. The Notcast.
He says, why no 4-vert shoutouts from other chat sports channels? Is it a competition thing? You have insane ball knowledge, and I think other fans need to know about it.
Oh, I mean, it's not anyone else's job to promote my other show. I suppose they could if they wanted to, or if I really wanted. I could ask, but like, that's not my. I don't know. How do I answer that? Like,
I mean, at the end of the day, like 4verts is a great channel, and it's a growing channel here. But I mean, these other guys too, like they've got their own responsibilities and everything that they got to.
Yeah, like if they wanted to shout me out every once in a while, come check us out, cool. But like, and I'm not saying anyone would do this out of like narcissism or anything, but like they got themselves to worry about. If they wanted to like plug it every once in a while, cool. But like, I'm not going to go over to Marshall's desk, Chase desk. Yo, man, I'd really appreciate it if you would plug my show 3 times a week or something like that. Like, it's just
they probably look at you funny just a little bit.
Yeah, like no one's asking me to do that for their shows. Now I root for everyone's success here, so I'd be happy to do it when it's relevant for other people, but I don't expect that from anyone. It's not needed, to be frank. I'm sure it would help get more eyeballs, but like it's like that's my passion project. It's a channel built around my personality and my takes and what I want to talk about. So like, it's.
I mean, literally look at the logo, for crying out loud.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like my bosses have already like done me a solid of letting me do this. Like it's a unique, like not everybody's gotten to do a show like that. So like I don't expect anything from anyone else. Plus, what would they say? Like, I don't know. Like the way we structure our shows, like if they're plugging my show, that means they're probably taking something away that they could plug for their show, right? So like, that's kind of the simple way of doing it or of explaining it. But I appreciate you showing love, though, right? Like I certainly appreciate that. You like the show, and if you guys want to spread the word to other people, like, go for it. But it's not their job to plug it. Don't expect it. I never will. If they want to, when relevant, awesome. That I greatly appreciate that. But it's just
now
it's no different than any other show. Like,
right.
would I plug the Commander show on this channel? No. Like now that I get that's different, but yeah. Kind of a long-winded answer there.
Now, put a positive spin on this question. If Harry were to do a 4verts collab with another chat sports host, which I'm not saying he will or will not, but if he were to do that, who would you want to see maybe collab with him?
Yeah. And I've thought about doing that.
Because I do think it would be like kind of a nice, interesting twist just to kind of, have you ping pong back and forth with somebody here. Maybe you guys are a fan of.
What is happening in the chat here? Trying to get caught up here.
What do you mean?
There's some debate going on. I think it's a Caleb debate. Trying to catch up.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
Yeah, I hopped on the Vikings show. That was fun. Maybe I'll have Seeps back on this show, our Vikings guy. Be a good time.
See Chase or Sperry.
I think I'll do more of that during the season, too, like when the Bears play a team for a channel we already have. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like maybe like a collab preview.
Soldier Bear said someone wishes Caleb a career-ending injury.
Oh, jeez, who's that?
That is not cool. Whoever
No.
did that. Come on, man.
That is not allowed.
If you're not a Caleb guy, that's cool. But like, we're not gonna root for career-ending injuries. Not gonna do that.
Yeah. Don't wish injury or death or anything like that upon anybody.
Yeah. All right. # Bears Super Chat. Fire in the live chat. We will get to as many of your questions as possible.
Just refreshing the link here, but yeah.
I don't know who it was, Erica. I'd have to find it. Yeah, Lacora. Oh, you're back to number 1.
Oh. Oh, no.
I don't know how this XP gets calculated.
Yeah, well, because here's the thing. I'm looking at the community. I'm going to double check it again. Okay, now it changed. Because for a while, it was stuck with, like, everyone at 75 XP. Now LaCour's leading the way.
I don't know
at
how you get
125.
into another tier. Daniel Snelson, which is that true? Why do you want him to have a career-ending injury, Daniel? You must be fun at parties. Must be fun at parties. Chat Sport should do a YouTube version of Good Morning Football. We've had ideas in the past, like we talked about doing like our own version of like College Game Day before, but just a lot of work, man. We already do a lot. Just logistically. Everett, that's perfectly fine. No one's asking you to be sold on Caleb. But to root for him to get injured?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I just found the chat. Yeah, you're gone from the chat, buddy.
Come on, Daniel. Let's be better.
Oh, yeah, you put it again, yeah.
Let's be better, Daniel.
You're gone, bro.
Let's try.
I'm not going to repeat what he said, but that.
Let's try to be a little better.
Peace, dude.
All right. Hashtag Bears Super Chat. Let's flush that negativity and keep it rolling here.
Yeah. We got a lot of.
Need some more questions.
Yeah.
Need some more questions. It's been a week and a half. I know you got questions.
Yeah.
I've been live since last Monday.
Jeez. Yeah.
That's probably the longest gap in a while since I haven't gone live. Trying to think.
Yeah. I mean
this time of year vacations pop up, but
yeah.
Yeah, I missed 2 live shows.
Emil O'Neill says put the link to your channel, please. Are you talking about 4 Verts or Bears now?
4 Verts. Yeah, if you don't know about 4 Verts, I talk all things NFL and college football on that show. If you want to go subscribe and support, that'd be dope.
For whatever reason, it's not in the doc, so I'm gonna.
Boo!
Oh no!
That's a doom.
That's a doom, baby. Let me look it up here.
Doom. Doom.
Yeah. NFL and
I was trying to check recently when the last day I didn't get at least one video out on the channel was. I don't even know when it was. Because even when I was gone, I was covered off mostly, and then I did a couple at homes when I got back.
Yeah.
There's the link.
Yeah.
It's a good question, Barry. Throw hashtag Bears on there, and we'll answer it in the mailbag. Hashtag Bears.
Tim, that's also a good
Same
question.
with Tim.
Yeah.
Hashtag Bears. See it on the screen?
And down below.
Yeah, I can actually point there without my
finger getting
hand
cut off.
disappearing. What's back here? Mystery box.
Mystery. They'll never know.
They'll never know. I'll never know.
That's true.
What you know, I know.
Yeah.
Still a Fields fan for sure. Wanted the Bears to make the playoffs.
You can have both things.
That's cool. Yeah.
You can have both of those.
Someone's saying hashtag Packers. Not going
Gross.
to get on the show that way, buddy.
No, not on this show.
I won't kick you out, though, of the chat for being a Packers fan. I'll just have the chat FGB raid you. I'm reasonable.
Yeah.
I'm reasonable.
You're a fair man.
If you're not saying out of pocket stuff, you're allowed. Now you could argue "Go Pack Go" is out of pocket, but hey, I'm reasonable. I'm reasonable.
Tito, that's actually a pretty good super chat. You're gonna need to give context to that, but that is a really good super chat.
I don't know if we could do. I don't know about.
No,
I don't think.
By the way, it would be pre-game, not post.
Yeah, we would not do during the game collabs.
Oh yeah, or during.
There's just strategical reasons why we wouldn't do that to begin with, but we've done them before, like in preseason games.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and flash that just before.
Yeah, this one's not really a mailbag. We'll go ahead and get Tito's on. Hashtag Bears Super Chat. After we flash Tito's Super Chat real quick, we will get more questions going. Sounds like a bad idea. Imagine collabing with the Commanders game last year with the crash that you had. Someone's getting punched in the face. I'm not a violent guy, especially with other people, but that would have been tough. It was already tough. But
I will say
I rewatched that recently, and God, it's not fully going to go away until the Bears play them again.
Yeah.
Especially during that game. They're going to show that replay like 20 times, especially if it's close.
Yeah. Guys, let me just put it to you this way. So, like, y'all obviously saw it, whether you're watching your phone, your TV, your iPad, whatever you're watching it on. Imagine being in the same room when that was going on.
I had a couple last year. Do you get, like, concerned?
I just
I'm not actually going to, like,
no.
do anything crazy.
That was just, like, and I told you this afterwards, like, that was the first time I'd ever seen you like that.
Upset, yeah.
Like, to the point where I just was like, I'm just going to shut up. I'm taking myself off screen and
let me go.
Just, hey, man, let's process it.
I'm
here if you need it.
People want to see the raw emotion.
Colin words. If you go to the end of the Commanders live stream from last year on the channel, which again you can check that after the stream or whenever. Literally at the point of the Hail Mary. I mean,
you'll find it.
Yeah, you'll find it. You'll find it. It's also on.
We also have the scoreboard on screen, so you can kind of figure out when it's toward the end of the game.
Harry also posted it on his Twitter and Instagram because he is a good sport. So
yeah, it's pinned to my Instagram. Like, so if you go to @HGramNFL, it's one of my pinned posts.
Yeah,
it's got. I think it's got to be my most engaged post ever. Let's see.
I would imagine so. Here, I'm putting the link in the chat.
It's got
yeah. DC says it was
over 500,000 views. Almost 8,000 likes. I the first line of the post was all I know is pain.
Yeah. All I know is pain. DC Viper said it was better than the 22 meltdown.
The 22 meltdown was more post game. That one was up there too.
Yeah. Was not there for that one.
So
obviously.
that game they lost 12-7, literally, and they got inside the 5 on 3 different drives and scored 0 points in those situations, and they lost by 5.
No, I remember.
And by the way, 6 of the 12 Commanders points were Velus Jones muffing a punt inside the 5-yard line. Shout out Velus Jones.
I remember that.
Oh, Joe Keel with the Venmo.
Oh shoot, we got
Who's
the
back
Venmo
of the
graphic.
week.
Venmo graphic, baby.
Who is back of the week?
I believe this is okay. Yeah.
Man. All right, we're gonna get to that mailbag shortly. I promise.
How much was it?
20.
20.
Shout out Joe Keel. Appreciate you, Joe. You're a real one as always. Let me see. He said, just saying hi. Good work, boys. Appreciate you, Joe. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to a mailbag. Hashtag
Yes.
Bears or Super Chat. And then we'll have one more segment after that as well. So plenty to come here on Chicago Bears Now. I'm Harrison Graham coming up here on Chicago Bears Now. We have a Bears mailbag. You see it, hashtag Bears in the live chat to get your question answered on the show. You can also super chat to get those questions in as well. But we do these mailbags live every Monday, every Thursday. Get your questions in. And if you want to be a part of those mailbags, well, you got to subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. We are chasing 124,000 subscribers. We are almost there. We got to get there well before training camp. Let's make it happen. We got mandatory minicamp next week, one more OTA session after that. And then it's the slow period. So busy couple weeks coming up, but then it slows down, but our coverage doesn't. We'll still have content every single day. Go ahead and subscribe today. Okay, Tricky with our first mailbag question. He says, Ben Johnson gives me Jim Harbaugh vibes, not complaining. It's an interesting comp. I think there's a lot of differences. I mean, he's obviously younger. I would say he's more of an innovative, offensive, creative mind, whereas Harbaugh's a little more hard-nosed. But I do think Ben Johnson, and a question people had about him is like, can he command the room? Can he be a leader of men? Like, you heard all those. And then, like, all we've heard about how, like, not hard-nosed he is, but how demanding he is. Like, players have talked about, other coaches. Like, when a guy like Case Keenum, who's been in the league for almost 15 years, talks about how demanding he is and that he expects your best every single day, like, that that checks that box for me. So any concerns that people had about that, is he just a nerdy offensive guy or can he actually lead the team? I think so far he's proven that he can. All right, the Notcast, you get 5 coworkers to take on 2 Bears VPAC. Who are you taking? I don't know what VPAC means.
Versus pack.
Oh, wait, 2 – hold on. Explain this to me.
So the way I read it is you get to take 5 coworkers to take 2 Bears versus Packers.
Oh.
That's what I read it as. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I know. I think you're right. Well, I got to bring my guy Cullen here. Probably got to bring Roley as well because he was with us for a while. Who else would I bring? I'd probably go Marsh and Seeps, the other 2. Seeps, NFC North guy, and Marsh is one of my guys as well. But a lot of people I'd want to bring, but that'd probably be the core group. If I wanted to just bring all the Bears Now people, I'd have to, I'd show OG, live producer Jack. Sam helped us out a lot early on as well. But I think that initial 5 I mentioned, I think we'd have a pretty good time. Caleb's Revenge. Could the Bears trade for Tyler Algier from the Falcons? He rushed for 1,000 yards as a rookie before they drafted Bijan Robinson. I looked this up. I kind of thought Algier was entering his 3rd year as I knocked my drink over. He's actually entering his 4th, so it's the final year of his rookie deal. I've always liked Algier. He's a thumper. He's got decent wiggle in space, decent enough. That second year, his first year with Bijan, he wasn't as efficient, but then last year, I thought, given the carries he had, he was very effective, almost 650 yards on 137 carries. I think he's a starting caliber running back in this league. I think he's a really good player. He brings some physicality and in between the tackles ability that DeAndre Swift just doesn't. And I think he's clearly a more proven commodity than a Roschon Johnson or a Kyle Monangai. So I would absolutely be open to this scenario if it became available. But I don't know if Atlanta would move him, right? But sometimes you do see this, right? Like last year, Khalil Herbert with the Bears is a good example. Like good player who had been productive, but final year of his rookie contract, can you get something for him? Bears obviously traded him. Maybe the Falcons would think something similar. Now, maybe that's more of like a trade deadline move. I don't know because Atlanta's trying to win this year. But clearly Bijan's their top guy there, whereas here he may not be the top guy, but maybe it's more of a 1A, 1B role than what it is at Atlanta. Would you trade a day 3 pick for Tyler Algier? Like, I'll just 5th round pick. Would you do that? Type T for trade, P for pass. I'd think about it. He's not at the top of my list of guys I would like to bring in, but I like him. I always have. I think he could start in this league in the right situation. Bijan's obviously just a special talent, so he's their number 2. Mike, think we can be top 5 if we keep Swift and pick up James Cook. I mean, James Cook would be fun, man. Be fun. Are you talking about top 5 offense, top 5 running back room, top 5 team? I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, if you somehow got Cook while keeping Swift, I mean, that makes you feel infinitely better about your RB room because you upgrade at starter, and then Swift is arguably the best number 2 back in the league in that scenario. One of them, at least. Stefan, do you think we could trade for a guy like Tank Bigsby because the Jags drafted 2 running backs? I do think they're a team to watch, kind of like Seattle. Seattle and Jacksonville each have like 4 playable running backs. We've talked about Seattle a lot. Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, Kenny McIntosh, and they drafted Damian Martinez. The Jags had Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby. They drafted the kid out of Virginia Tech, Tootin, who, by the way, is fumbling at OTAs already. Shocker. And I forget who else. LaQuinn Allen, one of Cullen's draft crushes. So if Tootin and Allen both show they can play, are they keeping Etienne and Bigsby? I don't know. Bigsby probably meshes better with Swift. Etienne might be slightly better overall, so I don't know. Again, I would view that as like if it's Bigsby, similar to Algier, like 5th, 6th round pick, bring him in here, come be the number 2 with Swift. So, I do think there are a few running back situations around the league where a guy could spring loose for a late round draft pick or could even be a surprise cut. So definitely keeping an eye on that as training camp gets going here in a couple of months. All right, if you want the best Bears coverage on YouTube, at least, we like to think we do a good job. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. Don't miss out on our mailbags as we continue to answer your questions here. DC Viper, do you think Caleb's accuracy will be drastically better this year? And what has been the talk in OTA so far? It sounds like a mixed bag. Now, the media has only been there for 2 out of 6 practices, so it's clearly an incomplete picture. Next week will be interesting. Mandatory minicamp. The media is there all 3 days. We'll react to all that. I believe it's next Tuesday through Thursday, so that'll be good to see kind of 3 days in a row. What does it look like? But I don't know how much we're really going to be able to gauge on this thing until training camp. It's just still early on in the install process. But, yeah, I mean, it needs to be, right? Like, I think a lot of that starts with the footwork, which they're working on, putting a lot of detail in right now as part of the install. So, yeah, I mean, he was 62.5%. I mean, we got to get to 65. Like, let's get that to the mid 60s, if not higher, and go from there. So I would say if it increases 3 percentage points, is that drastically better? It's notably better. So yeah, I think if it goes up 3 points or so, that'd be good. Breezy, who would you most like to see win the left tackle job? I would most like to see Ozzie Trapillo win it. Because, and that's not like I liked his college tape better or something like that. It's just, look, if Braxton Jones is the best left tackle, great. He needs to play. But you've already paid your 3 interior guys. If Darnell Wright has a big year, you're going to pay him next offseason. He'll be extension eligible. If Braxton Jones is your guy, are you going to pay all 5 of your starters? You can, but that's kind of difficult. Whereas if Trapillo earns the job, you got a 4-year runway of a rookie contract. You can have a starting left tackle that makes like $2 million. That's pretty valuable to have. So he would be ideal. Maybe Amagaji wins it. Obviously, we're already a year into his career, so you'd have a 3-year runway there. But, if I had to rank it, I'd go Trapillo 1, Amagaji 2, Jones 3. Now, if I had to guess, I think it's going to be Jones or Trapillo. That's my guess. Sounds like Trapillo had a good day yesterday working with the ones. Did pretty well. So we'll see when the pads come on. But ideally, Trapillo wins the job, A, because you just spent a second-round pick on him, and B, rookie contract control. 4 years of a starting tackle for his price tag would be very, very beneficial. Fill in the blank for us. Caleb Williams will be a top blank QB this season. Top 10? 5? Top 12? 15? What do you think? Top blank quarterback this NFL season. Jeremy, do you think linebacker depth is the biggest need at this point in free agency? I think it's a position you could add. I would still say edge and running back are the 2 positions I'm most keeping an eye on. But linebacker depth, safety depth, those are a couple of positions to certainly monitor. It sounds like Ruben Hippolyte and Noah Sewell are competing for that 3rd linebacker role right now. Both have good athletic profiles. We'll see. It sounds like I've heard a couple people say this, that Sewell has kind of transformed his body. So I'm intrigued by that. So keep an eye there. But, yeah, I mean, if you're not ready for either of those 2 guys to be your 3rd guy, signing a veteran linebacker could make some sense. All right, appreciate all your questions here on this mailbag. If you got more, hit me up on social media at HGramNFL, Twitter, and Instagram. Still got to catch up on some IG DMs, but I will do that this weekend. At HGramNFL, go ahead and give me a follow and slide into those DMs.
Yeah, Notcast has got another one coming in. Sorry, it just went away, but yeah, I think it'd be cool. Obviously, Bears vs. Packers.
Bears Packers, be fun. Be fun for sure.
Lacora, that's a good one.
What do you say?
He quoted another one of your. I don't even know just like something you say like a bunch. Like I feel like you say a bunch at the end of mailbags.
Oh,
if we didn't get to your question, pain.
Did we not get to you, Lacora? Or are you just like mimicking me?
Did Lacora? I feel like he does ask questions. Let me see which. Did he?
I'll tell you what. If Hippolyte's a good player, we're getting we're getting Hippo Hive shirts.
Yeah,
that's a must. If he's a good player, we're getting Hippo Hive shirts.
Here's the question from Notcast. LB3 may take DJ's role, very similar, but DJ's older.
Luther Burden. I was thinking number 3 linebacker.
Oh yeah, that's
for
right.
a second. Yeah, I mean it's possible, right? Like if we get to the end of this year and Rome ascends to wide receiver 1, which I think is a possibility, And even if Burden hadn't surpassed DJ, but you see him becoming that type of player, I'm not saying they'll pivot off DJ next year, but I am saying it's at least a possibility. This is a big year for DJ. Big year.
Huge, some would say.
Didn't have his best year last year. There were some effort and body language concerns at times. He's got to show he wants it. I think he does. But got to go out and do it.
Yeah. And I think that's
The Bears are not in cap hell, James.
No. They're actually in a pretty decent spot to sign.
And they're flexible moving forward, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah. Hippo, dippo.
Hippo Hive. That was one of the great arcade games.
Mm-hmm.
Hungry, hippo. Hungry, hippo.
Bang,
I hope Ruben Hippolyte's hungry to smack some running backs.
I'm very interested to see how he's used this year. Because you don't really spend a 4th-round pick on a guy that's very well unknown unless you have a clear vision for what he could be.
Yeah, I think they think he can be a star on special teams, and he has the physical tools and speed to be a good linebacker. On the latest 1920 football drive, there was a clip of after they picked him from Dennis Allen saying, "We just got faster, boys." So he clearly likes him. So we'll see. I would imagine there's some development needed there, but I'm excited to see what he can do. All right, we got one more segment to go.
Yeah.
Going to take a look at some post-June 1 trade/free agent targets, depending on if guys get cut or if they become available for trade, because a lot of players' contract statuses change on June 2nd. They become more cuttable for teams, tradable for teams, attainable for other teams. So we'll see if there's any action, any movement there. But a few guys, after doing some research on some other teams' salary cap table, that caught my attention. So we will dive into that next here on Chicago Bears Now. This is Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham, and on today's show, we're going to take a look at some post-June 1st targets. And certain guys around the league, based on the way their contracts are structured, become more cuttable or tradable after June 1st. Like, there's a pre-June 1st dead cap penalty and a post-June 1st. So, for example, a guy could, if you cut him pre-June 1st, you might only save $2 million, but post-June 1st, you might save $8 million. So there's not typically a ton of movement post-June 1, but you typically see a few moves across the league that could take place. So we are going to examine 5 players that I do think could spring loose based on their contract status and on some reporting that's out there. Let's first talk about a guy who was a free agent last year that we talked about a little bit here on this show. That is Bryce Huff, the edge rusher with the Philadelphia Eagles. There's actually some reporting here, so I want to get to that first. Jeff McClain of the Philadelphia Inquirer, he's covered the Eagles for a long time. He said, Bryce Huff wasn't at practice, talking about OTAs there. He said, in fact, the defensive end hasn't attended Eagles workouts this entire spring. An NFL source said that doesn't necessarily come as a huge surprise since he's unlikely to be part of the Eagles' plans for 2025. The Eagles don't want him getting injured in case they can still unload him after June 1st, which it would make more fiscal sense. When it would make more fiscal sense. Can the Eagles trade him? Probably not with that price tag. Maybe they eat a large portion of his salary just to cut bait. Now, from a cap hit standpoint, let's just say Bears trade for Bryce Huff on June 2nd. It's only $4.28 million for the Bears. Now, to the point McClain saying with that salary, the Bears do not want to absorb Huff. I think he's owed like $16 million this year. I think they would look at the Eagles and say, eat 12 of that. Like, if you eat 12 of that, we'll take the small cap hit that we would absorb given his contract setup, and we'll throw you guys, 6th, 7th round pick. Something like that. Kind of something where the Eagles can unload him, at least get a little something for him, cut bait, and the Bears add a talented pass rusher coming off a disappointing year. A couple years ago with the Jets, and even in the year before that, he didn't have a ton of sacks, but his pressure rate was just fantastic. I mean, his PFF pass rush grade in 2023 was among the best in the NFL. And then last year, the Eagles give him a healthy contract, and the grade's okay, but the production wasn't there. I don't think it was a scheme fit with Vic Fangio. Whatever the problem was, he did not fit in as well there as he did with the New York Jets. I think in a perfect role, he's a number 3 edge rusher. So, hypothetically, if the Bears brought him in, if Adengbo, elevates his game and becomes that second starter opposite of Montez Sweat, which they're expecting him to be, Huff is a number 3 guy. It is pretty intriguing, right? Because you could go Montez Sweat, Dio Adengbo, Bryce Huff, Austin Booker. I think that's a pretty decent core 4 for this front 4. I'm more interested if he gets cut because the Eagles have kind of made it clear he's not a part of their plan. So, why would you give them a pick? Now, the reason teams do that sometimes is because, if he becomes a free agent, then it's open season. He can negotiate and sign with any team. Whereas if you throw Philly a 6th, 7th round pick, then you get him, and you don't have to deal with what other teams might be willing to do to get him if he becomes available via cut. So keep an eye on that one. Sounds like Philly's going to move on. I'm not sure how the Bears view him in terms of scheme fit, but he's not that far removed from being a pretty damn effective pass rusher. Okay, Antonio Gibson with the New England Patriots, a guy I've always liked because he can thump a little bit and he catches the ball pretty well. I didn't even realize this. He was pretty solid last year for New England. I mean, over almost 750 all-purpose yards on less than 150 touches. That's pretty good. He was well over 4 yards per carry there behind a bad offensive line. He had over 200 receiving yards, which is a little down for his career, but again, that team was kind of a mess. And now the Patriots have Travion Henderson to go with Ramondre Stevenson. So to me, Antonio Gibson is an RB3. Obviously, he'd be a great RB3 for New England, but I think he's RB2 worthy in this league. I think his role gets pretty diminished now because I would expect Travion Henderson, a guy they took in the 2nd round, to be pretty involved. I mean, he's going to play a lot. Stevenson signed a contract last year. He's obviously going to play a lot. Whereas the Bears, we know DeAndre Swift is, but who's that number 2 guy? That's still the question. And, Stevenson or Gibson can give you a little more in between the tackles ability while also being a pretty solid and productive pass catcher in his career. So I think he's a sneaky player that could get cut, or you could get for very cheap, like 6th, 7th round pick. He only costs a couple $1,000,000. So definitely an under-the-radar back that could be available before week 1. All right, pin comment on this show. What's the bigger Bears roster need? Is it edge or is it running back? Go reply to the pin comment and give us your thoughts. Okay, Kendre Miller, a player I'm very familiar with, played at my alma mater, TCU, had a huge final season there. And it is just not worked in New Orleans. Now, I think that's primarily due to injury, but there's been some reported clashing there with coaches as well, which surprised me because you never heard any of that back in his college days. So maybe it's just a bad fit, who knows? But I do think it has started with the injuries. He's had numerous soft tissue issues, which dates back to the college football playoff. He got dinged up in the TCU semifinal win over Michigan, didn't play in the Natty, and it seemed like he just was never right his rookie year. Then he got hurt again last year. But he's a talented back. He catches the ball well. He's good downhill, patient runner. Kind of reminded me of Lev Bell coming out of college. He really lets blocks develop, but we just haven't seen him play much in the NFL. Now, something of note, which would probably rule out the Bears, is who was the Saints head coach? Dennis Allen. And there were reports throughout the last 2 years when Miller's been there that him and Dennis Allen did not see eye to eye. Now, Dennis Allen's not the head coach here. It's not his call, but you would think if the Bears are doing research on potential running backs they could acquire, that they would ask Dennis Allen about Kendre Miller. And if Dennis Allen, if those reports are accurate, that, I didn't view him as a hard worker, whatever the case is, my gut just tells me, well, it's not like Miller's shown a ton in the NFL. If Dennis Allen doesn't put in a good word, then they probably would go elsewhere. That would be my thought. But talented young player who hasn't really had that big opportunity yet, I still think he's got big-time potential. All right, get yourself a Caleb Williams jersey today at chatsports.com/Caleb jersey. That link is in the comments and the description of this video, chatsports.com/Caleb jersey. All right, Logan Wilson next up here. I know some people are still curious about linebackers, so am I. This, along with the Bryce Huff one, there's been reporting on this throughout the offseason. But from the Bears standpoint, that third LB spot is still up in the air. You got TJ Edwards, you got Tremaine Edmonds. Is it going to be Ruben Hippolyte? Is it going to be Eamon Ogbongbemiga? Is it going to be Noah Sewell? Sounds like Hippolyte and Sewell have been getting a lot of reps there to be that third guy. Tremaine was a little nicked up this week at OTA, so they were getting some looks at middle linebacker as well. But if you're uncomfortable with those two young players, if one of them has to be your third guy, maybe you would sign a veteran. And there's been reports throughout the offseason that the Bengals could cut Wilson. Didn't have his best year last year. It saves almost $6 million if they were to cut him. He does have 4 straight years of 100 tackles. Just looking at his numbers here, historically he's been pretty good in coverage, although he wasn't as good in that area last year. Just 29 years old is how old he'll be this season. He turns 29 in July, so not like he's a super old player. So experience, 5-year starter for Cincinnati, 4-year starter for Cincinnati, 5-year player. If he's your third guy, if he needs to start full-time if there's an injury, cool. If he's your part-time starter, Sam linebacker role, I think he could handle that as well. Okay, one more player to come. Subscribe to the channel for Bears content all year long. Hit that sub button, turn on notifications, don't miss out. All right, we will throw Trey Hendrickson in here. The Bengals do save $16 million post June 1 if they cut him, so that, or if they trade him, they obviously wouldn't cut him. So that's notable to include him here. From a Bears standpoint, it's all the reasons we've mentioned off and on over the last couple months. All-in move. Big-time pass rusher. Could he be the piece that gets your defense over the top? Do you believe in Caleb enough to make a move like this? If you feel like this team is ready to win in this kind of window you've got here. So, nothing new in terms of why the Bears would be interested. But if Cincinnati does move on, they do save $16 million as a post-June 1st trade with Trey Hendrickson. Should the Bears go all in on Trey Hendrickson? What say you? Type Y for yes, or you can type in for no. Again, I'm open to it. Assuming the extension you would have to give him is not outrageous. Like if it's in the low, even mid-30s on a 2-3 year extension, I'm willing to do that. Now, am I willing to pay him Myles Garrett money? No, but I don't think any team is going to do that. So I would be open to it. I don't think you have to do it. You could certainly see how you look early on in the season, maybe make a splash at the deadline if you're looking for that big-time piece to put you over the top. But if they went for it, can't really argue with it. It's kind of hard to argue with teams that take swings and try to swing big and go chase a Super Bowl. All right, appreciate everybody who has tuned in to today's show and to all of our shows here on Bears Now. If you hit the subscribe button, go to the content tab, you'll find all of our other videos as well. So be sure to check that out. We'll see you next time. Bear down. All righty. Fun being live again. It's been a little bit.
Says pass on Hendrickson.
Fair enough. There's some risk there, just in terms of if you swing big and he either declines or the team's not as close as you thought. I mean, certainly not risk-free, but
nothing in life is.
I'd be open to it if the contract wasn't just outrageous.
Soldier Bear says, please don't leave me.
Lakora, Kittis, Jason all tied at 150 XP.
Yeah, I know.
Lacora's getting the tiebreaker. Not sure how that works. Are you going to the game tonight?
Still pondering.
Well, what are we down to?
It's like $90.
Oh, someone earlier said 70. Did it go back
I thought it
up?
was. I thought it was. I was about to say. I thought it was below 50 at one point.
No. They said if it gets
below. That's what it was.
It was down to 71 earlier. If it's back up.
Early flight. It's my main.
Yeah.
Where are you flying to?
Yeah, where are you? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh.
See ya.
Oh, that's right. Well, give best wishes.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Speaking of flying, I'm thinking of flying Spirit exclusively from now on.
Why is that?
I'm a big fan of Spirit.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
Just because it's cheap?
I mean, listen, I think Spirit gets hot take. I think Spirit gets a little bit too much
of a bad rap.
A little bit of a bad rap.
I will say this: it is much better than what's that other cheap one? It's the green logo.
Yeah, no.
Frontier.
Frontier.
Listen, you want to sponsor Frontier? We're open for business, but it's been a rough go. Yeah. I will say this. For for the most part, I've had okay experiences with Spirit. Now, are the seats smaller?
Yes.
Is the cabin like drink service as good? No. But if I'm not flying to Europe on Spirit.
That's what I'm saying.
If it's a 2-hour flight, who cares? Like, if it's $100 cheaper.
Here's the thing. I'm not flying across the country just in general.
Yeah.
Like, I just, if I'm trying to fly, like, say, in the state of Texas, or if I'm flying to Louisiana, Oklahoma, or
Atlanta,
whatever. I'm taking Spirit. Spirit's like, I get a bad rap, man.
It's the ultimate, they get the job done.
Exactly. You don't walk into McDonald's asking for a healthy meal. You don't walk into Spirit asking for a gourmet flight experience.
Listen, I get that Happy Meal. I know that toy is going to be in the bag.
Yeah.
It's going to be
That's
there.
what I'm saying.
It's going to be there.
That's what I'm saying.
Culber says this is a scorching take.
Scorching take. Yeah, I'm getting flamed in the chat.
I don't know how it works either.
The XP thing, yeah, I don't know either. Alex's Spirit is not worth it. Listen, people have said the horror stories. I'm just saying I've never had them.
I will say I think the way to go in general is to get a credit card, like an American card or whatever, build those miles that way.
Yeah.
It's like American in a perfect world is the way to go, I would say.
Yeah. Vegas, Chicago is 4 hours, bro.
Save yourself while it's not too late. Never flown, huh, Brian?
I mean,
I haven't flown a ton.
Honestly,
I've flown more in the last. I bet I've flown more in the last 3 years than I did in my first 27.
That's fair. Here's the thing. I haven't flown a lot recently, but like when I was kind of traveling there for a little bit, like again, like I'm broke. I'm a college student. I didn't have like a big boy job yet. Like Spirit took care of me. All right. Spirit took. They
brought the Spirit.
It did. They brought the Spirit. I can't say nothing more on that one.
Kyle says, "Hope your family's doing well after your loss. Who you got in the Bears Pittsburgh game? Flying out for the game for Australia." Shout out, Kyle. First of all, thank you.
Man down under.
We're doing well. Obviously, it was my mom's mom who passed, so it's been a hard time for her. She's also spent a lot of months with her at the in and out of the hospital. Some of you guys know how that goes, but doing well. Appreciate that. And then also, I don't think the Steelers are going to be that good, so I like the Bears in that game.
Yeah, I like the Bears.
That's a fun game to come to, though. So enjoy.
Spirit pilots are telling the passengers.
Whoa.
Dennis says Spirit pilots are telling the passengers to shut the fuck up and get ready for the turbulence, baby.
I do love
Hey, I like that kind of honesty.
I do love the Instagram reel creators and the TikTok creators when they do the comparing
you're gonna have to meet the Spirit on the Spirit.
Airline experiences or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's just yeah, Spirit, strap in. We're gonna get you there, but you might have some bruises.
Yeah. Like I said, I've never had a bad flight on Spirit. Maybe I'm the only one in America.
Look, it's not great.
No, I'm not saying it's like gourmet or like a luxury
I will say
thing.
I do have one beef. I did get a flight canceled last minute, and they don't take care of you that well if they cancel a flight. Like Americans, all right, well, we'll help you out. It's yeah, you're canceled. Figure it out.
Pretty much. I've never had that issue, so I can neither
until a flight gets canceled. You're in good spirit with Spirit.
You want to know what's actually kind of funny? So I actually have ridden or rode, I guess, first class with Spirit. I got bumped up because it was
What is Spirit first class like?
It is I would assume the average American flight.
Okay.
But again, it was fine because again, they were treated me nice, had a little extra leg room and everything. But I'm just saying, for the price, I'm never.
Listen, you get what you're paying for.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
You get what you pay for.
I want to hear y'all's worst flight experiences because y'all are flaming me. Spirit has a good safety record, though. See, refrigerator repairs got my back. I've never had an issue. People are throwing out JetBlue Allegiance. Now, look, if someone's paying for me on an American flight, I'm never going to turn that down either. But listen, I got to pay for my own flights.
If you're on a budget.
Yeah. Spirit gets the job done.
Balling with the budget.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That was a little random sidebar, but.
Good times. You never know what we're going to talk about here on Bears Now. Sometimes it's people in the chat rooting for Caleb Williams' career-ending injury. Sometimes it's debating airlines. You just never know what you're going to get. Erica, Frontier is just bad.
Yeah, that one I'll never defend Frontier.
It is it's a tough scene.
Yeah, Michael Ortman apparently did a Spirit flight to St. Thomas. I'm assuming
How was that? The Caribbean?
Yeah.
I would not. I will tell you this right now. I'm not flying over water on Spirit. if there is a sea, I'm not flying Spirit.
Yeah. You may not even do it if there's a lake.
Southwest is good too, Jason.
Yeah, Jason getting the last super chat probably of the stream, but
Southwest is good too.
Oh, I didn't even see this one for Kyle. There we go. So this is the one from earlier.
Yeah, appreciate you, Kyle. We discussed that one a minute ago, but
Yeah.
shout out to you.
Shout out to you.
Enjoy the States and enjoy Soldier Field. Could be
Absolutely.
Aaron Rodgers' last game there if he signs. So
Yeah.
hopefully we kick his ass. Hopefully you bring us home a victory, Kyle. I'm expecting it.
Alex says my Spirit flight to STT was totally chill.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay, Jason. God, I've had the
Southwest.
yawns all day today. Tough go.
Tough go.
Says Team Southwest. Southwest, I've had good experiences. Although, didn't they change something? Did they change their bag policy? They changed something
Yes, they changed
recently
their
that
bag
had people
policy.
up in arms.
Yeah, I think it's their bag policy. And they remember because they did like the campaign with like Luca or something like, oh, we'll never leave you. And it was like announcing that or something like that.
And then like 4 months later,
Yeah.
we are changing our policy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, tough look. All right, we're out of here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll be back in the office tomorrow, so we'll have some fresh content for you guys, so stay tuned for that. Hit that sub button if you haven't already. Share the show with a friend, and bear down.